I've worked with individuals with a very large difference of net worth, 30,000, 300,000, and 3 million. You're probably in one of those three categories. So in this video, I'm going to help you understand what you should invest in, how you should invest in it, and most specifically what your day-to-day looks like. All right, so if you're at $30,000 net worth, now this is not income, this is net worth. You have savings and you have some money, probably in a 401k and maybe in a checking account, and you probably have a little bit of debt. If you have $30,000, you have to extremely focus that money on one thing that you would consider to be a guarantee. I'll go through the list of guarantees. Bitcoin would be a guarantee. Real estate would be a guarantee. Or a top 10 humongous company. Apple, Nvidia, Google, Facebook, Tesla. Take all of your money and put it into that one asset repeatedly as often as possible. So what that would look like is you would take $30,000 and buy Bitcoin with it and leave it alone. The timeline, until you can make a 30 to 50% return on your money. Once you do that, you then sell, take that money and invest it again into another guarantee. What it looks like for a lot of people is Bitcoin, Apple, sell Apple, buy Tesla, sell Tesla, buy Google, sell Google, buy Bitcoin, take that money and then buy a house with it. Now that you own the house, you start to pay off the house and pay down the house. The truth is, if you have $30,000, we already know that's not enough money to retire on. We already know that's not enough money to really do anything extremely expansive with. And that's okay. We all have to start somewhere. This is exactly what I did when my net worth was $30,000. I focused my money and I put it into very large assets. Bitcoin wasn't around, unfortunately, at the time, but I was buying Apple, I was buying Panera Bread, I was buying Starbucks, and I would take all the money, I would put it into one position. I would continually slowly add to that position, a couple $100 every so often. And then I would grow that to a 30% return, sell it, and then put it into another guaranteed asset that's going to go up over time. Now, your day-to-day routine as a person with $30,000 of net worth, you're going to want to continue to increase your skills. You're going to want to look at your money every day, because money is a relationship energy and it wants to feel loved, cared for, protected, and seen. Number two, that habit that you're building, looking at your money and just keeping it in your awareness every single day is extremely important. The second piece of your day-to-day habits and routines, reading books, listening to podcasts, watching videos just like this. Well done, champion. Spending time and energy thinking about, deliberating, and really contemplating your money, your investments, your approaches. As you do that, as you get mentoring from YouTube University, from mentors like myself and other mentors that I've learned from, like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Earl Shove, Earl Nightingale, Mel Robbins, Mark Cuban. You go through the list of people, you learn from them, you implement their actions, you take their advice, and you spend your money to grow your money. So for a lot of you, you're probably going to be here, where your net worth is around 300,000. At this spot, you've reached an incredible mark. You now have more dollars than days left to live. So what that means is you have to start buying your time. Whatever it is that you're doing in life, you need to start investing into time. Because at $30,000, you had not a lot of dollars and you still have a lot of time. Now, when you have 300, you have probably less time than if you have $30,000, but you have a lot more money. So now you have to start scaling. And what that means is you're going to be taking some of this money to figure out how to optimize your life and become more efficient. I think you're taking 25% of your money and you're targeting into a business. Another 25% of your money, you're focusing it on some level of real estate investing, either upgrading your primary residence so that you can eventually sell it for a tax-free profit, or buying rentals, or buying land and holding it. You're doing some active real estate investing with 25%. You're still spending money on your knowledge and skills, and it still should be a pretty decent amount. Again, probably 25%. And the other last quarter is going to be focusing it on stocks. So you have business, an exterior business that you're either trying to build, you're trying to grow, you're trying to scale. You're going to have real estate. You're going to have you still spending time and energy and effort on you. And then the other 25%, make sure it's in the markets, because the markets are always going to provide the most expansive returns imaginable. The time horizon, the expectation that you should probably have for a lot of your investments are going to be somewhere between 3 months, which would be stock market investments, maybe the business investments, to about a 3-year time horizon. This is really where you're thinking, right? You're spending time, energy, and effort on what can my money do over the next 3 years? What might this particular real estate area in my city do over the next 3 years? What's this business going to expand into over the next 3 years? So you're not thinking generationally yet, because there's really ultimately no reason right now. You still need to spend a lot of time in growing your nest egg, but you can do so with a little bit more targeted approach, with a little bit more speed, with a little bit more velocity. And the way to do that is, again, still think smaller time frames, but time frames that are big enough to matter. Going back to the 30,000 net worth, right? You're spending hours and days. You're trying to move this money as quickly as possible and growing it as fast as possible, focusing it on some guarantees. Now at 300, you can start spreading it out a little bit, and again, giving yourself a lot more time. And the good news is, on a day-to-day basis, as an individual with a $300,000 net worth, you really shouldn't be stressing out about your money. You shouldn't be worried about your money. You shouldn't really have this fear or anxiousness or anxiety, because remember, what money touches, it expands. So if you have anxiousness, depression, fear, frustration, anxiety now with $300,000, as you get into the $3 million ballpark, that fear, anxiousness, depression, and anxiety will also expand. So this is the time when you have $300,000 every day to spend on your mindset. Remember that 25% of your money, you're going to invest it into you. This is investing into coaching. This is investing into books. This is investing into ideas, mindsets, awarenesses, education, so that you can start knowing who you are, where you're going, why you're going there, what you're trying to do. This is where you start worrying about and concerning yourself with and thinking about your purpose, your mission on this earth, and how you can really start expanding it. Now, hey, my multi-millionaires, bang, you made it. I love it. $3 million net worth. One of the phrases that kind of frustrates me the most is when you hear very commonly that millionaires have about 7 streams of income. The reality is they probably didn't have 7 streams of income when they became a millionaire. You're still going to have, in my opinion, 4 or less main streams of income when you reach millionaire status. When you reach millionaire status, now you do have the ability to start diversifying and spreading yourself out a lot more. But until then, you have to focus. You have to concentrate either on business, real estate, yourself, or stocks. One of those 4 environments is going to be where you end up making your $1 million. Now that you are a multimillionaire, you have the ability to take what's called bite-sized risk. Bite-sized risk is where you start investing into something like private equity or venture capital. These are very explosive, very unregulated industries and markets. This is where you need to know people, use relationship capital, use human capital, knowledge capital to really understand, speak with, and buy tickets into the right rooms so that you can become aware of the opportunities that exist. I have over 42 different styles of investing that I do right now, having reached the $3 million mark in 2017 for me personally. So here, once you start spreading out, a bite-sized risk profile looks like $25,000 or $10,000 or $50,000. This is the most amount of an investment that you'll make into different private equity or venture capital firms, knowing that one of them will probably pop off. But you're doing it 25,000 here. 3 months later, 25,000 here. 3 months later, 25,000 here. You're deploying capital into potential opportunities, and now you're starting to broaden your horizon, broaden your network, and broadening your investing scope and knowledge now that you're a millionaire. So the cool news is, on a day-to-day interaction, when you're a multimillionaire, at this stage, you actually can truly afford to have financial advisors or money managers. And here's why I say once you hit $3 million. I've personally never heard one person ever say, my financial advisor got me rich. So to get rich, a lot of people would say that's, millions of dollars or multi-million dollars. That generally is the I am rich now category. Until you get there, a financial advisor is not going to get you there. You are going to have to get yourself there through knowledge, through education, through investing, and through massive asset growth. That's the only way you're going to become a millionaire. You're never going to become a millionaire putting in $10,000 a year, giving it to a financial advisor, and having them grow your money. That I can promise you. Now, what's really fascinating about this whole concept is once you have that $3 million, yeah, for sure, you can start having advisors and financial advisors be a guardrail or be a barrier or be a protector of your money, be kind of like a emotional wall when you do have the turbulent times in the market. Maybe you're scared, maybe you're worried, maybe real estate, maybe business, maybe venture capital, maybe private equity, maybe the stock market is extremely volatile and you're scared. And so you need a sounding board and you need someone there that you pay because you're going to be paying your financial advisor fees. Now that you're paying these fees, you can have these conversations with these professionals like myself who can interact and have conversations with you to kind of give you an idea and a professional opinion on what to expect, what to think, and maybe what assets to buy, when to buy, why to buy, and where to buy. And the fascinating piece here, being a multimillionaire, the real beautiful part is you now have a massive ability for impact. Keep this in mind, and this is going to be across all spectrums, 30,000, 300,000, and 3 million. Your goal is to still give the entire time. The secret to living, family, is giving. Even if it's $10 when you have 300,000 and then $100 when you have 3 million, if you continually give and you find opportunities, you find people, you find charities, you find nonprofits where you're aligned with their mission, you're aligned with their purpose, and you're really ecstatic and thrilled about what they're doing for the betterment of the world, it feels so good and it provides such an incredible caliber and a refreshment to your soul to give and to provide into this world. So those are the 3 investing levels, 30,000, 300,000, and 3 million, how you should allocate your capital, what you're doing with your time, and how your day-to-day looks.